guys, welcome to this new video. Today I'm going to show you how to manage a GitHub repository, right? I will show you how to manage a GitHub repository. Please don't forget to subscribe if you have not done so yet, and also don't forget to follow us on social media by the name DevOps Easy Learning. So let's go to the GitHub repository. I will show you how to manage the GitHub repository. All right. So first of all, a GitHub repository is just a folder in GitHub, right? It's just a folder in GitHub where we can put all your code, right? Or other directory and file containing your code, for example. Now, let's see how to manage a repository. First of all, now, on every repository that you have, you need to find out, is the repository public or private? To check if the repository is public or private, you just have to click on the repository name. Then you can come down here. You can come here and check, and we tell you that, hey, the repository is now public, right? Now the repository is public. If you want to ping this repository, meaning that this repository is important for you, right? I can ping it, right? Just like we ping stuff in our cell phone, right? I can ping it, right? If I want, just like we ping stuff on our cell phone, we ping stuff on website because they are important. They are important, for example, to us. So let's go back to that repository. We ping it so that it's always there for us, for example. Now, another thing is that if you can actually change the name of the repository. You can rename your repository if you want. To rename your repository, let's say the name here is teaching tree. Maybe I made a mistake by typing. I want to change it from teaching tree to teaching with capital T, and I don't want tree, right? Okay, I just have to go ahead and click on setting here, right? I will click on setting, then I can come down here and update it, right? I will say, oh, I want capital T, then I don't want this tree, right? Okay, that repository already exists somewhere in my GitHub account. Let's say teaching, let's call it teaching student. The reason is that you cannot have two repositories with the same name, right? Just like in Linux, you cannot have two directories with the same name. So it gave me the warning because I had another repository called teaching already. So I can go ahead and rename it, right? Now you guys can see I went from teaching 03 now to teaching student, for example. Now, how do I change the visibility of my repository, for example, right? So as you can see now, this repository is public. How do I make this repository private, right? This repository private, public. Can I make this repository private? Yes. In GitHub, you can go from public to private or from private to public, for example, on the repository. So let's go ahead and change the visibility. To change the visibility from public to private or private to public, you come down here on setting on the repository. Now you can just have to go down. If you scroll completely down, you will see this place here say change repository, right? Change repository visibility, right? Share repository visibility. So I can come down here and click here. I want to change that to private. Yes, I understand. Then I understand, right? Make this repository private. Now, our repository visibility has changed from public now to private, right? It has changed from public now to private. Now, if I go back to the repository, you guys can see it is now private. We have changed our repository from public to private. If I click on setting again and scroll down here, as you guys can see, I can basically archive this repository, right? Let's say, for example, sometime we want to archive a repository because that repository is not useful no more. So I can go ahead and click here to archive the repository, right? I can also delete this repository, right? And it's a danger zone, right? I can delete this repository. So if I don't want this repository no more, I can just click here. I want to delete this repository. It will tell me, hey, warning, this is permanently delete. If I click here, right, it will say confirm, type this. If I copy this and put here, then say delete, and that's it. That repository is gone. If I check my repository right now, you will not see that cheating student repository no more, right? I can see other repository, but you will not see teaching student repository no more. You can click there here also to see more stuff. Now that's just that's just the repository. It's simple, right? And also one thing that you need to do check on repository side. One thing allowed by GitHub, there's a language detection, right? On the repository, GitHub is basically telling you that, hey, we have some HTML code in this repository. We have some SCSS, some some JavaScript, some mustache, so basically here it will tell you what you have. If the repository have releases, it will be tracked here. That will be the object of another video, right? For example, so That's just how, basically, for beginners, how to manage repository. You can do more stuff here. Like I said, I show you guys here on the danger zone. You can probably, disable protection rule if you want. You can archive, for example, if you click here, it will ask you to pre-tab this. Then when you tab this, it will go ahead and archive the repository. And we basically archive repository when we don't, we don't want them, right? Like something that is a repository that we are not using no more. So we would decide to archive that, right? We're not using the repository no more. So yeah, we'll decide to archive that. As you can see here, says this repository have been archived by the owner in January and is now read only, right? You archive it, meaning people can see, but they can't do anything on that. The repository now is just read only because it has been archived, right? Usually be archive repository when we are not using that no more. I hope you like the video. If you like, go ahead and give us a thumbs up, like it. Then if you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe. Don't forget to follow us on other social media by the name DevOps Easy Learning. See you guys on the next video. Thank you.